Okay, okay.
All right. So would you like to, maybe start a little about, how do you know me and why did you decide to set up the session?
I don't know how I came across you. Seriously, I
Mm-hmm.
have no idea. But yesterday maybe I read something. Like I think maybe you would have written a blog or something somewhere. And from there, I was like, okay, this can be a free consultation call, right? I have been to career counselors before, but like I was never able to reach a conclusion with them. So I was like, okay, if this is something that can help me, because I am
Mm-hmm.
struggling with a lot of things at this point, and career is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, and I searched your background, so it is like good companies and everything. So I was like, okay, if that is something that can help me, I will try to approach. So that's why I approached you, and it was fairly easy, a simple process. So that's also something that I really liked. Very approachable. So kudos to that. But yeah, that's all. I wanted some perspective on my situation and how I can go about it. But that's all. I mean, yeah, I came across just like that. I was searching on something else entirely. Seriously, I was not even searching about counseling, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Just something related to my own situation. That's all.
Cool. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
it's nice that, you got some time to check my profile. A lot of people read my Quora answers and that's how they stumble
Oh
into me.
yeah, maybe that's why, because I'm always on Quora. So yeah,
Hmm.
maybe I read an answer on Quora only because I'm very often on Quora, and I think
Hmm.
yeah, maybe that's the case. So
Yeah.
I
Maybe a book.
I
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I went on Quora for sure. I think so. Most likely it's
Okay.
Quora only then. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So, just maybe you can start, by telling me what is the career challenge that you're facing currently, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, so I wanted to like discuss my situation in the sense that I was doing CA for a very long time, okay? And then at some point I realized that I didn't want to do it. Okay, I left it after CA Inter, after doing it for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, I had completed my IPCC, my articleship, CA articleship, right? All the while knowing that I didn't want to do CA, right? So I knew that someday before CA final, I will leave it, right? So when I
Mm-hmm.
did, I absolutely did it and I left it. And then after 2 years, I did my MBA, right? I went to UK, I studied at Essex University. It was a very good experience. I learned a lot and I'm back here. And I now want to do ACCA. In my mind, my inclination is that, okay, once I left my CA, so I always had regrets about doing it again. But I didn't want to go through the route of CA final because it's like a very long thing to do. And I don't want to get into that mess again. So I was like, okay, ACCA is something that I could pursue. But my main idea behind ACCA is also that I want to get into finance. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
want. Like, I want to
Mm-hmm.
pursue finance. So I am searching for avenues where it would be easy for me to do that, right? And there's a bit of complication in my case is that we have a very huge family business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my parents have expectations for me to be involved in it, right? And I am involved in it as of now. Whereas I could, in my mind, when I was in the UK, I wanted to be working there, right? That's what I
Mm-hmm.
wanted. But I am back here and helping out my family. I'm not saying that working in the business is not something that I don't want to do, right? I want to help, I want to be here, but in my mind it's always like, is my identity only going to be defined by my presence in my family's business? Because that's what I've done, right? That's what I've only done in my career, so to speak, right? I have learned a lot, but still I want to have my own identity, because someday I want, my goal is financial independence, basically. That's what my
Mm-hmm.
goal is, and that means not being dependent on anybody for my livelihood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even my family. So now I'm struggling with what to do next. I am 28 at the moment, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, I feel like I have not accomplished much regarding my career, and I don't even know how to proceed. So I was like, okay, I will talk to anybody who can point me in a certain direction, or like whoever is elder to me, or whoever I feel like has accomplished something
Hmm.
more than what I have, right?
Hmm.
So I have been talking to people, and everybody who I have talked to has told me that you should go for ACCA. It's a good option. You will have options open to you. If you want to do something like that, do it. And I have been asking about it, but not really studying. So in my mind, it's like, okay, I will apply and everything. So I have been staying it at this point. And in my mind, it's like by January end, I will spend that money to give the exams and everything. The only concern in my mind is that if I'm not going back to the UK, then
Hmm.
what's the point of pursuing an international degree? Um, because there is a membership
Hmm.
fees of 25,000 rupees after you become an ACCA. So
Hmm.
in my mind, it's also the cost factor. Whereas I have no issues with money. I don't know why even I am thinking about all of this, right?
Hmm.
But still, in my mind, it's like, if I'm not going to work in the UK, if I'm not going to be in the UK, why am I even trying? Um, and also, currently, I'm on my student visa, which expires in May 2023. So I can still go back, but I haven't as of now. I'm still in India. So, yeah, this is my situation. Any guidance
Right.
at this point?
Right. So, before we go into guidance, Sonali, could you give me the years? Like, when did you complete your MBA, and what was what was the years? You mentioned 7 years you prepared for CA.
Yeah.
So, like, are you like a
Yeah.
fresh graduate? Is what I
Before.
wanted to. Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I am not a fresh graduate. I graduated in 2016,
Mm-hmm.
BCom, right?
Okay.
And during that time only, I was giving my IPCC exams. So as soon as I cleared my BCom, I cleared my first group of IPCC, during which I started my articleship. So
Mm-hmm.
3 years of articleship, I completed it before 2020, and I also cleared my second group of IPCC in 2020, and after which I left my CA. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
2020 February, I had cleared my IPCC. After that, for 2 years, after leaving it, I was very directionless because I did not know what to do. So I started very slowly. I did some courses randomly, and then I decided to do MBA, which I did in 2022. So
Mm-hmm.
like this
Yes.
2022, I was doing the MBA. So I
Mm-hmm.
had just finished my MBA. My degree would be coming anytime soon,
Mm-hmm.
right? And yeah,
Right.
that's how it has been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Sonali, quickly just paraphrasing what you told me, so we know that
Mhm.
we are aligned on the kind of questions you're looking for, and maybe
Yeah.
you asked a lot of lot of them, you have a lot of them at this point in
Yeah.
time, but maybe we can pick a few of them because not all can be covered, as you can
Yeah.
understand. So you finish your BCom in 2016, and parallelly you had started your CA, and then you went through that process of CA for like 7 years, but then you decided to let it go in 2020 and pursue some other career direction. And
Yeah.
MBA from Sussex University came to your rescue. There are some things that you would want to do, but you don't know. Like you want to get into a finance. First of all, you want to have your own
Yeah.
identity because as is the situation with your family, and given that you're also involved in the family business, you feel your identity is kind of not solid
Makes.
as of yet.
Yeah.
And then you would want to work in UK as well, and probably pursue the ACCA, but um, you don't know if you can leave the bounds of your home or your business and even
Yeah.
be there. So um what I would, so one thing that I would want to mention, and just a quick observation. You mentioned that you have taken some of the counseling sessions earlier as well. So the objective of a counseling session, and the objective of this conversation would also be to help you build a perspective. Maybe there are some things that you cannot see and maybe blindsided to, and those are some things that maybe I can make evident through my experience. And it will boil down to, not a very concrete thing, because that is
Yeah.
always the case. Like, it always boils down to small simple things which are lying in plain sight, and it's only the action that, when we take them seriously and decide to act on them, that they solidify. Solution always feels, very simpler, and sometimes we feel, there is a hard protocol here to go about this, but that just does not come into the picture. So one thing that we would like I would like us to find an answer to is, what is it that you would want to pursue in finance? So when we say finance, finance could be, finance industry. So, any mutual fund companies, or any banks could be finance. And then other finance could be like a finance skill. So,
Yeah.
you get into any company, but you have some core finance skills. So, when you say finance, can you help me understand more, like, what is
Yeah,
it
so
that you're
when I
looking
was in the
for?
UK,
Mm-hmm.
I was searching through different kinds of jobs, right? And the thing that appealed to me the most was financial planning and analysis specifically,
Mm-hmm.
because I have background knowledge of accounting already, right? And I have interest in finance. I don't have interest in accounting specifically. So
Mm-hmm.
financial planning and analysis involves analysis of companies, and you also relate to the ground level. So that's something that I had figured out that this is something that I would like to study for sure. I would like to know more about this, right? I could not pursue more of it because I did not have enough time, but this is what I was gravitating towards when I was applying for jobs or any or everything. So yeah, that's the kind of, and for that only I saw that ACCA was a requirement, or it would
Hmm.
be better if you have it. So that's why I was also like, okay, ACCA I can pursue because I have six exemptions, seven exemptions there in papers. So because of my past background, so I can pursue it easily also, and it will be something that will be an add-on to what I was doing. But then after that, I came to India, and now everything is changed. It's not the same anymore, and I still have like those kinds of things like I would like to do, but then now it is only possible remotely, maybe.
Right.
But
So,
I am thinking if I should still keep that option open. Um, yeah, that's it.
right,
I mean,
right. So, given your interest in financial planning and analysis, I see two very, like, lying in plain sight paths here. One is you can do the ACCA, for which you will have to go back to UK. And how long is the
mm,
duration of this?
ACCA, it's 1 year, 2 year, depending on you. Like
Right.
it's
Okay.
something you can do with a job. It's not something
Hmm.
that you have to study and sit and study like
Hmm.
CA or any other
Okay.
course. But yeah, you
Right.
can do it with a job. Yeah.
Right. So the other thing would be that you go for jobs which do not require ACCA. So it could be in US, like you said, you could pursue it parallelly to a job. So I'm thinking there might be some openings on those lines. Or the other thing is, like you mentioned, that situation has changed and it's not that easy or simple to go back to US. It's also about the trade-offs that we have to make in life, given our circumstances at this time. So the other thing could
Mm.
be that you do a financial planning and analysis job here in India. That's
Mm.
where you start. And I'm not sure, like, how much are you getting by being associated with your family? Like, how much is your, like, monetary compensation, or how you view at it as well? Like,
Yeah.
but you would have to start somewhere. So, it would not be like a that, so one hesitation could be कि जितना मैं घर में कमा रही हूँ वही ज्यादा है versus, because
Mm.
it's going to be a first job, and
Yeah.
that may hold you back. But it again comes back to how strong is your desire to build your own identity, because that is a
Yeah.
process. It takes time. It will not happen overnight कि मेरी जॉब लग गई and now I can boast to parents कि मैं financially independent. You may still require them, but I think financial planning and analysis is a rare sort of job. Not everyone is capable of doing that, and people require special technical skills to do that. So if
Yeah.
you end up into that, your graph would be very steep. So you can land into your dream companies rather sooner, wherever you
Mhm.
want to be. So that is one thing. Have you given it a thought ever? Like, hmm,
I give it a thought very often actually.
hmm,
But it's just that I mean I feel stuck because I want to be there for my family, but I want to build my own identity. So it's a very confusing situation. Plus, um, for me, I think the age factor is building in a lot. Like it's just coming in a lot. Even though I'm not trying to make it one, it is becoming one, right?
Mm,
Being in the UK, like by myself, also feels like something that I cannot do long term. So in my
mm,
mind, it's like whether I should be there or not, trying this out by myself. It's a very scary thought. But I did it for the MBA and it was really good. So it helped me grow a
right.
lot.
So,
Yeah. So
so
I
what
don't
I'm
know.
hearing, Sonali, is you had a fair experience, like going to college in a US, in a UK, in any abroad university is a different kind of experience. Their education system is different. But what I'm hearing is in the light of current situation that you are in, there is some resistance to go there. Either is the
Yeah.
association with family, your age factor, or the macro conditions by which you feel it would be tough to be on your own. So
Yeah.
how about, if you start here and this is something you should always avoid radical steps when it comes to your
Mm,
career. Like wherever you are, try to start getting involved in where you want to be, being here,
mm,
and
mm,
maybe there will be a future time when you can go back to UK, like thoda sa experience yahan pe. Maybe once you get married, you can like whatever your age considerations are, they may pass, and then you can go back there again, which is how things may work out.
mm.
But how about starting somewhere here? Have you looked for some jobs here? Do you feel you are
Um,
qualified, you can crack them?
I haven't looked for jobs here, but like I said, I was looking for how I can do ACCA here. And I can very well do ACCA here. It's very easy. And I have all the resources available to me. So what I thought is that I will begin ACCA.
Mm,
And but what my how where why I'm being stopped there is that what's the
mm,
point? What are you going to do with it? Like that's something that's coming in my mind, and it's negativity. I think
is
it's negativity at this point.
mm,
But then and I know that despite this negativity, I'm going to do it, go ahead and do it. But somewhere I just don't want it to interfere while I'm giving my exams or while I'm preparing for everything. So I want it to be a solid decision, right? And that's why I am struggling with it a bit, because um yeah, taking steps and then being unsure at the same time.
mm.
So that's something
So
that's making me
why,
uncomfortable.
right? So why do you think, this unsurety may be coming from? Because you mentioned that, it is like the necessary step to land a job in
um
UK. And if that cannot happen today, that may very possibly happen
yeah, that's
tomorrow.
true. Because I'm not able to see like the end conclusion. Like it's the same way when I had applied for my MBA. I did not know whether my parents would even send me, or like whether I'll be able to go, because it was a COVID situation at that point, right? So
Mm,
whether I'll be able to go or not, but still I had applied and I continued with the process and continued, and then situations became such that I could go. So and my mind is such that when I'm not able to see the end result,
mm,
it just lands into confusion whether I should do it or not, whether I should do it or not. And that's the thing. Unless I and until I take the steps, right, it will still remain a confusion. That's the problem. And here the confusion is because of the money factor, I think.
mm,
In
mm,
that process, there was no money involved, so I could take the steps and be like, okay, if it doesn't happen, okay, there's no money lost. But here, I have to invest a significant amount of money, like close to a lakh or something, right?
mm,
And later on also. So in my mind, it's like whether it's worth it or not. So considering the financial factor is why I'm not able to go ahead with it with full force, that yeah, it's good for me and this is what I want. And even though in my mind it's like, okay, I should do it. It's a good idea. Why don't I do it and everything? Still,
right.
it's because of the financial constraint. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have no problems with money, just in case. I have no problems with money. I can very easily pay everything, but still, um, in the past year, I have become more like saving oriented, right? Putting my money where it is worth. So my mind is very strongly considering the consequences of spending that huge amount of money and everything. I think that's
Right.
the only,
So
yeah.
Sonali, like you mentioned that even when you applied for MBA, you were not sure what the experience is going to be, and there
Yeah.
was no end result in sight. But still, you went
Yeah.
ahead, and seems like the experience was wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm not debating and not making a case that you should go for ACCA. But sometimes we don't know until we make that
Do
first
it.
step. So that is one thing. But having said
Mm.
that, if you still feel that you are not like 100% convinced because you cannot see an end goal, and this can be tied to a very specific end goal, that jobs in
Yeah.
UK. So
Yeah.
and then you don't see yourself in UK in the short term future,
Mm.
and this is
Yeah.
something which can be parked as well. ACCA is
Mm.
like a short term degree, 1 साल
Mm.
2 साल का है, and
Mm.
time can present itself later. How about the question I want to ask you is, you're not going to UK, let's say you don't do an
Mm.
ACCA, and you
Mm.
don't take finding a job in India seriously, like you don't probably, then what are you
Mm.
going to do?
I'm going to work in my family business. That's what is going to happen most likely.
And your family business is in what industry? Is it related to,
It's in
do you do the finance work there, is what I want to know.
No, but for me, I have two core areas of interest, like
Hmm.
finance and HR. So currently, I've been handling HR in my business,
Hmm.
and it's not a small company; it's a medium level public company, public limited company. So there have been a lot of problems, and I have been doing that bit fairly well. But like
Hmm.
managing is also something that I really like to do. Finance is something that it's a technical skill that I want to build, but if I was to say what I gravitate towards naturally, HR is my core skill, right? So I have been doing that. I have been definitely using my MBA for sure. I've been applying it everywhere, all over the board. But like I feel like at some point it has to start going towards what I want to do instead of
Hmm.
just what is expected out of me, right? And
Hmm.
finance is something that I want to build a skill in because I don't have it. I know that I don't have it at this point and I want to get better at it because in my MBA I had realized that finance is something that interests me, but I don't know how to do it. And it's if it
Hmm.
happens for me, if I can make it happen through hard work or like putting in effort, then it is something that is going to really benefit me. That's what I feel about it. So I yeah, that's my
Got it.
intention behind the
Got it.
job and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sonali, what is happening here is, you seem like a multi-passionate sort of person, two
Mm,
fields, and having, you're doing your job well. So there is
yeah.
sort of a, as you can see, probably, you just haven't associated a word to it yet, but you are in a safe space right now. You are in your
Mm,
parents' company, and you are doing a
yeah.
work which is easy to come by. You do not have to develop a technical core skill set, which would be the
Yeah.
case with finance industry. So that simply means that would mean go out on your comfort zone and start from scratch. So you would
Yeah.
have to, even though you have degrees, but as you might be aware, that corporate environment is different, and it requires
Yeah.
you beyond academics and really learn like ye kaise lagana hai business sense mein.
Mm-hmm.
So that would mean starting from scratch. Now home and home business, family business feels like a space jahan pe you are able to do what you want, and the truth is, I don't see any harm in that, Sonali. Like, you feel that you are, your identity is tied to your family, which is
Mm,
something that you don't get rid of your whole life. Your identity is always tied to your family, and you are saying that you are hoping to reach a place,
mm,
like some dream place, and you cannot reach it in the current job. Is there a
yeah.
possibility that you can mold your current job to kind of do what you want to do more of?
Mm.
Maybe you
I
can be in
mean,
the. Mhm.
I could, but I don't know how. Since I don't know the how, it's very
Hmm.
difficult. Like, if I could, that's what I'm saying, that I'm not able to see things clearly.
how
And that's
how
why I'm struggling.
inclined are you to start from scratch on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being I won't do it, and 1 being I totally absolutely would do it?
Um, I think somewhere around 4 or 5 because I'm scared a lot. Like, I don't have much experience pushing outside the comfort zone. It's only in the last year that I have done it, and I have done it pretty well. But I know that I have gone through a lot of stress with that, and it has made me grow and everything. Like there has been no harm, but uh, I don't know how long can I do it. If I have the strength to do it, it's something that scares me, and it's exciting at the same time. That's the thing. That's why I think that's why people do it in the first place. But yeah, I think I'm somewhere on the 4 or 5, not really close to
So,
1.
yeah, so 5 would be neutral, and anything below that would mean that you are close to, that extreme that I don't want to do it.
Will not do
So,
it.
do you see an answer? I see the point about, the time not being right and all of that. And, there is a difference between people, who come from well-off families, versus people
Mm,
who don't. And I don't need to expand on that here. But, you know, it's okay to not hustle if you are in a good spot. I mean,
mm.
even though that feels, very sexy and glamorous to, hustle and build your own life,
Yeah.
there are a lot of ways by which you can leverage the spot where you are, where, a lot of people take time to reach. And if you start from there, you would reach up higher. But
Mm,
at the same time, you have to let go of that burden, that मेरी identity shit and, UK and all of that. क्योंकि वो all of that is pushing you down. You are not able
mm.
to give your 100% because you're always thinking, I need to be someplace else doing something else.
Yeah. I can, yeah, it is very, yeah, it's something that I can relate to at this point. This is true. This is true.
What
I
is the
mean,
challenge
I
with
know
ident?
I
Go on.
know that I am in a privileged position, and that's the reason why I came back. It's and I know that it would be easier for me to do things here. But I don't know for what reason my mind is just constantly, I mean, it's very difficult for me to stay where I am now because of this issue. And I find it so problematic just taking any step calmly and happily, because my mind is constantly pushing me towards the hustle, the the way to make it difficult for myself at some point or some level. And I just don't know how to get out of it, mentally. um Probably it's more mental than anything else, it's not even about a career. But I don't know how to get out of it, to be honest.
But people in, like who have family businesses, they go to abroad universities all the time. And it's not that, just because they can pay, they're also smart and intelligent to make it to those universities. And they come back and utilize their skills in their family business. So, you want to hustle. Is there a
Hmm.
way you can hustle in your current role?
I
You
have been doing that.
it might not be related to HR. Like
Hmm.
you are a human being with a lot more potential than HR. Let's not attach
Yeah.
labels to, what you studied. But, maybe there is another, business line that you can start. Maybe there is another product that you can add. Maybe you want to take your business online. I mean, it could be n number of things. You would know better. If you started make a list today, you would find 10 such things. And maybe, one of that would be, you would be passionate about, or, maybe good start, you can begin with and hustle there. Do you want to do that exercise now? Like, maybe jot down 10 things on how you can hustle in your current role.
I mean, you know what? That's why probably the idea of studying came in.
Hmm.
The idea of studying came in because that's the only thing I feel like has helped me build my own self separate from my family. That's why probably I was considering ACCA, because it was like that. um I am not able to see it in a way that helps me make money also, instead of just spending it. I'm spending it in education and everything, but then making money by myself, or making it feel like I'm making money by myself, is something that is a challenge.
So
um
can you build your own self being part of this business? I mean, like how does how would the son of Ambani feel being in a family business? Would he be like, no, I would only have my identity if I dissociate myself with this business? Or would he feel कि यार मेरे पास इतना सब कुछ है और मैं इसे और आगे ले जा सकता हूँ? So
Mm.
I am not able to. Maybe you can help me understand, like, what is this identity crisis being associated with family, and how can you be your own
I
self?
don't even know how it came into my head. Seriously, I have no idea how it became this way. Like, I don't know, but it has always been this way. Probably it is not related to finances, but in my mind, somewhere the association has become that having your own finances means being able to do what you want. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe in my mind, I have not been able to do what I want because of, and now that association has become with money. So it's like, as if I am able to have my own money, I can do what I want.
How
But
about you start? How about you apply some techniques, to see that financial independence where you are. How about you start taking a salary? You become a salaried employee of your own
mm,
company, and
mm,
that would indicate that you're getting a fixed sum of money, and maybe you try to run your own life on that money. And then you do something new, something grand. The challenges we discussed, and आपको कुछ करना है उसमें से एक point पकड़ा, and then basis that um, you reconstruct your salary and all of that. Would that sound as financial independence का मतलब ये है क्या कि एक सामान आना चाहिए मेरे को जिससे जिससे
मैं
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 खर्च कर।
सीरियसली सोच रही हूँ कि एक्चुअली में क्या मतलब है इस चीज का। मैं खुद ही कंफ्यूज हो चुकी हूँ इस टॉपिक के ऊपर, क्योंकि मेरी आइडेंटिटी अब एकदम कंफ्यूज हो गई है इस चीज को लेके कि मैं I'm literally considering what it means at this point. For me personally, okay, I have seen people in all sorts of ways, but still,
So
how will it work for me? That's how I'm thinking.
yeah, Sonali, we have 7 minutes, and like we would really want to build some clarity. I think one of the points, there was something that was clear during the session. I forgot. Did do you
क्या
remember?
क्या फैमिली के लिए काम कर सकते हो और उसमें भी आइडेंटिटी बना
हाँ
सकते
हाँ।
हो।
सो व्हाट डज फाइनेंशियल इंडिपेंडेंस मीन टू यू? अगर कल को एक आइडियल सिचुएशन आती है, कैन यू डिस्क्राइब दैट टू मी? लाइक व्हाट डज दैट लुक लाइक? सोनाली इज फाइनेंशियली इंडिपेंडेंट. What is Sonali doing? What is happening?
What is Sonali doing? That's a very good question, actually. I don't really know the answer to it.
Maybe you need some introspection, some activities, because a lot of times we are also influenced by the messages we hear, or like this
Mm,
has always been a message कि अगर family privileged है तो you always feel कि आपकी identity उनके साथ associated है. But पर्सपेक्टिव चेंज करने से यू कैन मेक सिचुएशन वर्क इन योर फेवर. क्या प्रॉब्लम है
mm,
अगर उससे एसोसिएटेड है? मैं भी अपनी फैमिली से एसोसिएटेड हूँ, एंड दे आर स्टिल लिविंग अ वेरी हम्बल लाइफ इन इन अ विलेज ऑफ यूपी. बट मेरी
mm,
आइडेंटिटी कभी भी उनसे कट नहीं होगी. मैं अभी भी वहां जाती हूँ तो मैं उन लोगों के साथ घुल मिल के उन लोगों के जैसे बन के रहती हूँ.
mm,
इट विल ऑलवेज स्टे. सो आई डोंट सी कि उनसे डिसोसिएट ही क्यों करना है. Maybe you should do this exercise as a takeaway of this
mm,
session, that create a ideal situation sort of board. You can have
mm.
photos there, or you can write just words there. um what does financial independence look like, and what is Sonali doing, what is happening, what are people saying about her? Maybe
Mm,
there is something more deeper than financial independence here. Maybe there is something
yeah,
else you're looking for. um
yeah. Maybe I've just tied it to finances, and it's in reality something else. I don't even know what it is, to be honest.
and I also think it's not that you, for the lack of a job, like you want to do a job. I think you are pretty in a good spot and you feel good about it. Like you gave four to,
Mm,
I want to change my job. I don't want to change my job. जो भी spectrum था, I don't recall. But
mm,
like basically you're not in the mood to move anywhere right now.
mm,
So try to do that activity.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I know we can continue talking. It's been fun to me as well listening to your story. But any final words, Sonali? What I would like to know is, do you think how do you think this session was helpful to you? Maybe one or two ways if you can highlight.
I mean, it's good to have talked just about my career, like for once, because generally when I talk to other people, like friends and family or random people, it's not just career and it's all over the place. So I am glad that you asked good questions, and I will have something to think about. That's for sure. Yeah, and something that's very specific that you said is that it does not have to be like hustle culture, right? And
Hmm.
probably I am attracted to it a bit because
Yeah.
people, I have always associated that with independence, right? So
Hmm.
maybe I have to build a new identity in terms of what I consider independence as, because I am privileged. I understand that, but being able to use that privilege is another mindset
Yeah,
altogether. So that
exactly, which
mindset
we don't hear.
yeah, so that's something that I am definitely lacking at this point, I feel. And after talking to you, I do get that a bit. So it has been pretty nice. I don't know what I will do ahead, but as of now, yeah, it's something to think about. So I'm very, very grateful. Thank you.
Totally. Thanks for those kind words. To your point, like I don't know what I will do ahead. I would say just start from, these tiny things and maybe read a little about you could be the first one, who can be a pioneer in thinking above hustle culture. I mean, hustle is always appreciated. That's why, nobody made a movie on Bill Gates because he was privileged versus, people making movies on Mark Zuckerberg and Spotify founder and all of that because they
Yeah.
hustled. So it is something celebrated in our culture, but you can start where you are, which is at a premier spot,
Yeah.
and you can hustle here. Your hustle story will be different, your struggles will be different than normal people, but nothing comes easy in life. It will not
Yeah.
be the case that you are getting it easy. You would still struggle. So maybe start with some introspection, and I would be very helpful grateful if you can drop some tiny feedback on the Instagram as well.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I mean in the message.
Yeah, in the message you can just say, just the couple of things you mentioned that helped you. That would be very
Okay.
helpful. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
It was
you.
a pleasure talking to you, Sonali.
Same here. Thank you for having me.
You good luck. Bye bye.
Thank you.